Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to teach you Asr prayers, and that is also 4 rak'at. After we do the wudu and we recite Adhan and Iqama, we stand up like Sayyid Taqi Abbas Jan to the side of Qibla and we do our niyyat. That means we clear it that we are going to recite 4 rak'at Salat al-Asr, the Asr prayers. This is the first step. The second step is saying Takbiratul Ihram. We stand up like Mahdi Jan and put our hands close to our ears and we say nice and correctly Allahu Akbar. Then we start Surah Hamd. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Then we recite Surah Tawheed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. And also we cannot recite Surah Hamd and Tawheed loudly in our Asr prayers. Then we get ready for Ruku'. In our Ruku', we say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And then we stand up saying Allahu Akbar and go for Sajda. In Sajda, we also say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We sit down and we say Allahu Akbar and we go again to the second sajda. In our second sajda, we also say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And then we sit down and make ourselves ready for the second rak'at. In the second rak'at, same as the first rak'at, we recite Surah Hamd and Surah Tawheed. After reciting Surah Hamd and Surah Tawheed, the next step is reciting Qunut. We stand like Taqi Abbas Jan and we put our hands right in front of our face and we do the dua. The easiest dua is saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And then we get ready to go to the ruku'. In the second rak'at, when we go to the ruku', again we say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We stand up, say Allahu Akbar, and we go get ready for Sajda. In the second rak'at, again we will have 2 Sajda. In our first Sajda, we are going to recite 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And then we sit down, say Allahu Akbar, and go for the second Sajda. In the second Sajda, again we will say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Then we will sit down for Tashahhud. Tashahhud in the second rak'at is necessary and it's very easy. Tashahhud is like this. Alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And then we get ready to stand up for the third rak'at. In our third rak'at, we have 2 options. One option is reciting 1 time Surah Hamd. And the other option is reciting 3 times Subhanallah walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Any of them is fine. Then we go to ruku'. In our ruku', like always, we say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We stand up and we will say Allahu Akbar and we will get ready to go to Sajda for our third rak'at. In the third rak'at, again we will have two sajda. In our first sajda, we will say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We sit down and we will say Allahu Akbar and we go back for the second sajda. Again in our second sajda, we will say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Then we sit down and we will get ready to stand up for the fourth rak'at. In the fourth rak'at, like the third one, we have two options. One option is reciting one time Surah Hamd, and the other option is reciting 3 times Subhanallah walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. And then we go for the ruku'. In the ruku', in our fourth rak'at, as always, we say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And we stand up and get ready for the sajda. Again, our fourth rak'at has two sajda. In our first sajda, again we will say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We sit down and we say Allahu Akbar and we go for the second sajda. In our second sajda, again we will say 3 times Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We will sit down for tashahhud and salam because our Asr prayer is only 4 rak'at. First, we have to recite tashahhud. Alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then, we have to finish our prayers with salam. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for listening. Please give this video to your family and friends, especially to your children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and protect you and your families. Jazakumullahu khairan jazilan. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sayyid Ruhullah al-Musavi al-Bahidi.